Fighting with their fists, the monk may look harmless, until they kick you in the face, and you realize they're actually a force to be reckoned with. They made their first appearance in the original Final Fantasy game, and have shown up in many of the following games since then. And of course they are with us in Final Fantasy XIV. They evolve from the pugilist and are one of the first possible jobs for a player to have as they start the game. So let's explore what it means to be a monk. And like always, to understand something, we need to understand where it comes from. And for that we need to understand Girabania. You see, the monk originally comes from the highlands of Girabania, where the city-state of Ala Mhigo stands. Our story starts at the end of the 5th Astral Era. The War of Magi is in full force, and the 6th Umbral Calamity hits the realm of Eorzea. This time the calamity was a catastrophic flood, causing many to have to flee their home and wander the land in search for a safe haven from the ever-rising water. Once this group of wanderers saw a comet in the night sky, which they believed to be sent by Rhalgr himself, the god of destruction and one symbolized by a comet. They followed the burning light up into the eastern reaches of the Appalachia Spine to an area known as Girabania. This was a harsh land to live in. Even if they were free from the floods, they were not free from starvation and the difficulty that came with settling a new land so high in the mountains. So the different races that had found their way up there split up into groups and would wage war against one another. But with time, cooperation was found. But with time, many of these groups would unite again and form the nation of Ala Mhigo. And it was during this time another group was created, known as the Fists of Rhalgr. These were men and women who devoted themselves to the worship of Rhalgr the Destroyer, tempering their body and spirit in an attempt to grow closer to their deity. Through harrowing training, they discovered their inner power known as chakras. And through these chakras, they formed a unique martial art that channeled the living energy of the user into a destructive force that they could deliver without any notable weapon. And with this power, the Ala Mhigans stood strong against their invaders for years. With the city's strong walls and the monks being part of their nation's standing army, nobody really could take over this nation. Until the year 1546, when things started to change. This was the year Theodoric first came into power, who would later be named the King of Ruin. Theodoric did not just see himself as a king, he actually proclaimed he was ordained by Nynaeve the Spinner herself, and because of it he banned worship of Rhalgr within the nation, demanding that people worship him instead. And this meant the Fists of Rhalgr were suddenly banned. They of course didn't agree with him, they kept on their worship and they kept on their training. And by the year 1552, Theodoric had enough. He had his men go to the temple and lock it up, making anyone who was within it unable to leave, be it one of the monks or the civilians who had taken refuge there. And then they set fire to the temple, burning it to the ground, killing anyone within. Men, women, children, it didn't matter. The Fists of Rhalgr would be exterminated, and with it, the order vanished. But it never truly died out. There were still a handful of monks that did not perish during the fire, and they would keep on training others. And even though Theodoric I was eventually kicked from the throne, the nation of Ala Mhigo never managed to regain his power again, as right after he lost his throne, the Garleans moved in, taking over the nation and changing the culture of Girabania forever. At the start of our story, this is where they stand. It is a nation stuck under Garlemald rule, and many people of Girabania have come to the other city-states as refugees, the most sizable group of them being around Ul'dah, in an area known as Little Ala Mhigo. These proud people still want to get their home back, and there is talk about revolution amongst them. And amongst these people who want to save their homeland, there are few who know how to channel an inner power into a mighty destructive force channeled through their fists. And one of these will be the one to help the Warrior of Light start his path to becoming a monk. When looking at the monk's aesthetic, it is light, flowy, and often colourful, with their first artifact armor being noticeably yellow. And this is really fitting as they focus on mobility over defense. And their colourful artifact outfits stand out, as the monk itself tends to do. They have no reason to hide, they are there and they proclaim it loudly before they punch you in the face. They're also the only job that has the option of using a glamour to hide their weapons, while the paladin can hide their shield. But as far as I know, there is no item in the game that allows us to make staffs or swords or knives invisible. But the fist weapons can be made invisible with the Emperor's new fist, allowing the monk to look like he has simply discarded his weapons and decided to punch you with his bare fists as any proper monk should do. Now as a player, you're a DPS. Your job is to do as much damage as humanly possible, while utilizing a little bit of positionals, moments of high damage, and generally just bringing utter destruction and chaos to anyone who opposes you. It means you're one of the very few existing today, after the destruction of their order. You're likely to be a worshipper of Rhalgr, and while he might not be your patron deity, he's probably a deity you respect. Your focus in life is to become stronger, build yourself up, so you can take on any foe. And you most likely want to fight to free the fallen nation of Ala Mhigo and restore the order that you belong to, while also just seeking out stronger and stronger enemies so you can unlock your chakras and discover the mysteries of your order, and also just punch bigger and bigger things. You and the warrior would probably be best friends, but that's the monk. Tell me, what does it mean to you to be a monk? Is this your main job? Does it mean that you tend to wear colourful glamour, or do you like to look a little bit different? And what do you think about the monk questlines? I, for one, think they're delightfully silly. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to be amazing, share this video with a monk, or a friend, or just anyone really. It would make me really happy. Interact with the video, thumbs up, and subscribe. I noticed that there's like 20-something% of you guys who are actually subscribed to my videos, who are watching it. Subscribe, it would make me really happy. I am trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of 2023, so help me by subscribing and pressing the notification bell, and convincing your FC to do the same. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you next time.